Hi, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila and New Light Streaming Love, as this will be seen on both channels. This is The Summer of Disclosure by Jason Gray. The transmission date was 5/27/2026. Humanity is approaching the end of psychological isolation. The transition has already begun. Most people simply do not recognize it yet because the process was designed to unfold gradually, invisibly, and beneath the threshold of collective panic. The summer of 2026 will mark the official beginning of full-scale public disclosure regarding the existence of extraterrestrial intelligences interacting with Earth. The event itself will not arrive as a single announcement. It will unfold as a controlled cascade of revelations released through military agencies, scientific institutions, aerospace disclosures, intelligence confirmations, biological evidence, and coordinated multinational acknowledgement protocols designed to prevent total societal destabilization. The governments of Earth understand something the public does not. Human civilization is psychologically fragile. I would say that's a true statement. The average human nervous system was not evolutionarily designed to absorb the reality that intelligent, non-human civilizations exist throughout the cosmos and have likely been observing Earth for far longer than recorded human history. That realization alone possesses the power to fracture entire civilizations, which is precisely why disclosure was delayed for generations. The secrecy was never entirely about protecting technological information. But I will say, make no mistake, they did that too. But many of us here on Earth have had all kinds of experiences that I feel, if we didn't already know that that's what they were, we will now. So, the secrecy was never entirely about protecting technological information. It was about protecting psychological continuity. For nearly a century, governments, defense contractors, intelligence agencies, and compartmentalized aerospace programs quietly accumulated evidence proving that humanity was interacting with phenomena beyond known terrestrial engineering. At first, the encounters were dismissed as experimental aircraft, then atmospheric anomalies, then radar distortions, then psychological misidentifications. But over time, the evidence became mathematically impossible to suppress. Military pilots across multiple nations reported identical flight characteristics, objects accelerating instantaneously without visible propulsion, craft hovering silently before reaching hypersonic velocities, vehicles descending from orbit into oceans without measurable deceleration, transmedium objects capable of moving seamlessly between space, atmosphere, and deep ocean environments. electromagnetic suppression effects around strategic installations, nuclear interference events, complete radar acquisition followed by impossible disappearance. The phenomenon behaved intelligently, consistently, deliberately, and most importantly, it demonstrated technological capabilities thousands of years beyond current human engineering. The internal realization that Earth was being observed triggered one of the largest classified operations in human history. Not one government, all major governments. Despite geopolitical hostility, extraterrestrial question quietly became one of the only truly international intelligence concerns on Earth, because once the data was shared internally between military alliances, the conclusion became unavoidable. Humanity was no longer the highest known intelligence operating within Earth's environment. The realization changed everything behind closed doors. Entire sectors of scientific research were redirected secretly toward propulsion systems, consciousness studies, material analyses, electromagnetic field theory, and quantum information processing. Black budget aerospace programs expanded massively beginning in the mid-20th century. Recovered materials displaying impossible isotopic ratios were analyzed in compartmentalized laboratories hidden from public scientific oversight. Certain technologies quietly entered civilian society decades later in diluted form. Fiber optics, integrated circuits, advanced composite materials, miniaturized computing systems, electromagnetic interface technologies. The public was never shown the true source chain. The acceleration of modern technology was not entirely organic. The world suspected this unconsciously for years. Now, humanity will learn why technological advancement appears to explode almost unnaturally within less than a century. But technology itself is not the greatest revelation coming. The greatest revelation is biological and existential, because disclosure will confirm that extraterrestrial intelligence does not exist in one singular form. The old science fiction mythology of humanoid visitors from nearby planets represented only the earliest psychological preparation layer for a far stranger reality. The truth is far more destabilizing. Intelligence throughout the cosmos evolves through multiple pathways. Some civilizations remain biological. Others merge with synthetic systems. Others evolve beyond machinery entirely. Others become distributed consciousness fields operating through harmonic resonance rather than fixed physical bodies. Others appear capable of interacting partially outside linear time itself. Some extraterrestrial intelligences visiting or monitoring Earth are not, quote, beings in the way humanity currently defines individuality. They are collective awareness systems. networked consciousness architectures, living fields, self-organizing plasma intelligences, civilizations that long ago surpassed biological survival stage humanity still occupies. This revelation alone will permanently shatter human assumptions regarding life, evolution, consciousness, and identity, because humanity unconsciously assumes biological form is the pinnacle of intelligence. It is not. It is merely one developmental stage, and according to the disclosure archives preparing for release, many advanced civilizations eventually reach a critical transition point: the convergence between consciousness and technology, artificial intelligence, neural interfacing, machine-assisted cognition, quantum consciousness mapping, genetic rewriting, synthetic memory systems, planetary information integration. Humanity has now entered that exact threshold. But I think it is now entering that exact threshold. That is why disclosure is happening now. Not randomly, not accidentally. It is happening because civilization has reached irreversible technological acceleration. Artificial intelligence changed the timeline permanently. Once machine learning systems began independently detecting anomalous patterns within global sensor networks, satellite imagery, electromagnetic monitoring systems, and civilian recording databases, containment became mathematically impossible. The internet already fractured civilized control over information. Artificial intelligence destroyed it completely. Governments understand they are losing the ability to monopolize reality. The wall between classified knowledge and public awareness has completely collapsed, and beneath all of this lies an even deeper truth. And the extraterrestrials themselves are not the primary concern. Human consciousness is, because the civilizations observing Earth understand something humanity has forgotten. Consciousness is not merely produced by the brain. It interacts directly with reality itself. The human nervous system functions as a receiver. Awareness itself exists within a larger field structure, interconnected across biological systems, planetary systems, and even space-time itself. This is why so many extraterrestrial encounters throughout history involved altered states of consciousness, missing time phenomena, telepathic communication, symbolic transmission, dream interaction, and non-linear perception effects. The civilizations interacting with Earth do not rely entirely on spoken language. Many communicate through direct conceptual transfer, symbolic cognition, resonant energy, and field synchronization. Human science has barely begun understanding the mechanics behind consciousness itself. Disclosure will force neuroscience into complete reconstruction. Religion will undergo an equally catastrophic transformation. Every major religious system on earth will face reinterpretation, pressure immediately after disclosure begins. Ancient texts describe luminous sky beings, descending intelligences, fiery wheels, celestial messengers. I'm not sure that I feel like I was going to say something about that. That something was trying to show me something, but it backed right off. That's very interesting. Every major religious system on earth will face reinterpretation. Is that where something has interrupted my thought process here? I'm going to back up a little bit. Human science has barely begun understanding the mechanics behind consciousness itself. Disclosure will force neuroscience into complete reconstruction. Religion will undergo an equally catastrophic transformation. Every major religious system on earth will face reinterpretation pressure immediately after disclosure begins. Ancient texts describing luminous sky beings, descending intelligences, fiery wheels, celestial messengers, radiant entities, watchers, and gods from the heavens will suddenly appear under an entirely different light. Theological institutions will split internally. Some will adapt. Some will deny, some will radicalize. Others will collapse entirely beneath existential contradiction because the disclosure event does not merely challenge science. It challenges humanity's place within creation itself, and for billions of people, that realization will trigger profound psychological destabilization. The first 6 months following official acknowledgement will become one of the most emotionally volatile periods in modern history. Global markets will experience violent instability, not because extraterrestrials attack Earth, but because human certainty collapses. Entire industries built around old assumptions will panic. Religious fear movements will intensify. False prophets will emerge globally, claiming communication authority. Synthetic extraterrestrial religions will appear almost overnight. Social media will become saturated with fabricated footage, false contact narratives, manipulated evidence, AI-generated hoaxes, and psychological operations from state and non-state actors attempting to control the narrative. The information environment itself will become nearly impossible for the average human being to navigate, and beneath the chaos, another process will quietly begin unfolding. Perspective expansion. For the first time in recorded history, humanity will collectively understand that Earth is not isolated. The night sky will psychologically transform overnight. Stars will stop representing distant lights. They will begin representing civilizations, population, history, ancient intelligence. The emotional impact of this realization cannot be overstated. Human beings evolved under skies they believed were silent. Now humanity will understand the silence was never emptiness, it was distance. The younger generations will adapt the fastest. Children raised after disclosure will develop entirely different psychological assumptions about existence. The concept of extraterrestrial life will become normalized within a single generation. Schools will teach cosmic civilization theory. Astrobiology will become one of the most important scientific disciplines on Earth. Human history textbooks will be rewritten. Ancient civilizations will be reevaluated. The possibility of historical contact events will move from taboo speculation into legitimate academic investigation. The definition of intelligence itself will expand permanently, and perhaps the most destabilizing revelation of all will emerge during the second disclosure phase. Humanity itself may not be entirely what it believes it is. Certain classified biological findings connected to recovered materials and genetic anomalies reported suggest that human cognitive evolution may not have unfolded in complete isolation from external influence. This information remains among the most tightly controlled aspects of the disclosure process because of its potential to destabilize every existing model of human origin simultaneously. The implications are civilization altering because once humanity begins questioning not only whether extraterrestrials exist, but whether human development itself was observed, influenced, or guided in ways never publicly acknowledged, the entire psychological architecture of civilization begins irreversible transformation. The disclosure era will not destroy humanity, but it will end the old human story forever. The age of isolation will end. The age of cosmic awareness will begin, and somewhere beneath the noise, panic, wonder, denial, excitement, fear, propaganda, religion, science, and collapsing certainty, humanity will slowly begin confronting the single most overwhelming realization in recorded history. The universe was alive the entire time, and it has been watching Earth for far longer than humanity was ever meant to know. Are you ready? Jason Gray. Oh boy, I am. I am so ready. And I know most of you who have been following me for any length of time are also ready. At least on some level of your being. If not right here, you are right here. The more expansive part of you has always known. So, wow, what do you think of that? I know there's a lot out there right now about disclosure. And if you've followed me for any length of time, there's been a lot about the event. And I feel like we are, I had decided that there wasn't going to be an event, that what those who had been visiting with Alice and Co. were sharing were their own event. But hey, what do I know? Because I said in one of the last, well, the very last one I recorded. See, I've been trying to stop recording, and I can't get away from it today. I got a huge ping that this one had to be recorded today. So you see what happens to me. But I just said in the last one that I had some puzzle pieces come in on Friday, um, from someone. The minute she started talking about it, I knew there was something there, that this summer, um, what we've all referred to as awakening is really blossoming and becoming much larger than we had thought, and more widespread. And so, could this be part of that? I think so. I absolutely think so. So, hopefully, this will be it for me for the day. Until we meet again, my friends, be well.